Imagine for a moment, imagine you knew that your business was going to die 6 months from now, a natural death. Your business is going to go away 6 months from now, for certain. What would you do differently over the course of the next 6 months to prepare for that exit, so to speak? This is a question I like to pose, whether it's on an individual basis to a business owner or a group of business owners. And very interesting, the responses that I get back. I'll hear, well, I want to start collecting all of my money. I want to get a lot better at collections and speeding up collections. I would get rid of my underproducing employees or my terrorist employees. I wouldn't want to deal with that for the next 6 months. I'd get rid of any unprofitable customers. Why keep any unprofitable customers? I would look to try to operate the business as efficiently as possible. I'd get rid of old inventory that never sells, maybe equipment that we never use. I would sell off, and the list goes on. And then at some point we'll stop and I'll say, "Wow, these are all fantastic ideas. Why haven't you already been doing this? Why now?" And their answer is because I essentially created an exit for the business owner by saying the business is going to be gone in 6 months. I created almost like an artificial exit for the business. And by having that exit in mind, all of a sudden there's this clarity about what I want to do in this business over the course of the next 6 months. To me, this illustrates the benefit of having what we refer to as an exit strategy for your business. Exit strategy. How will you exit this business when you're done? And so this is just kind of a brainstorming exercise that I use to get business owners to begin thinking about what would be my exit strategy. So my favorite book on this topic of exit strategy is called Dancing in the End Zone. The book is written by Patrick Ungashek. Ungashek interviewed over 500 business owners, asking them questions about their exit strategy. And what he found is that most small, medium-sized businesses don't have an exit strategy. They struggle with this. And so that's what caused him then to write this book about exit strategy called Dancing in the End Zone. The title of the book comes from, there was a football player named Elmo Wright back in 1968. He played for the Houston Oilers, and he's famous for scoring a touchdown, getting to the end zone, and doing a celebration in the end zone. He made an important catch, touchdown, did a dance in the end zone. First time that we know of that any football player did a celebration like that in the end zone. After the game, Elmo Wright was interviewed by the press, and someone asked why the celebration in the end zone. He said, "Well, I've worked hard to get to where I can catch the ball and get to the end zone, and I wanted to celebrate." So that's where Patrick Ungashek got the name for his book, Dancing in the End Zone, because we found in talking to business owners, they want to be like Elmo Wright. They want to get to the end zone. They want to celebrate. So that's where the name of the book came from. In the book, Patrick goes through 7 questions that need to be asked in creating an exit strategy. And you have a copy of these 7 questions in your handout. And I'd like to just walk through briefly each of these 7 questions and talk about what each question means. The first question is, when do you want to exit? Very important question for a business owner, operator to think about. When do you want to exit? When Ungashek posed this question to his group of business owners, the most common answer was 10 years. I want to exit the business in 10 years. And then, interesting, he went back a year later, same group of business owners. He posed the same question, when do you want to exit? What was the most popular answer? You're right, 10 years. Again, it just shifted, 10 years, 10 years. So Patrick said that's not going to work. So what he suggests in the book is to create rather than a year, create a range of years, i.e., I want to exit in 5 to 7 years. Essentially a not before and a not after. I want to exit not before we hit $1 million in revenue, but not after 5 million. Not before we've gotten to 50% market share, but not after 70%. Not before my kids go to college, but not after they've graduated. So in terms of timing, think about a not before and not after. Question number one. Question number two is, what is your most likely exit strategy? And in his research, what Patrick Ungashek found out is that there are primarily 4 exit strategies, and yours will most likely be one of those 4. The first is what he refers to as a passer. He gives a nickname to each of these exit strategies. The first is what he calls a passer. A passer is someone, a business owner, who passes the business from himself or herself to in many cases, a family member, a son, a daughter, a nephew, a spouse. That's a passer, just passing the business on to someone else. The second exit strategy is what's referred to as an innie. An innie is someone who passes or sells the business to someone inside of the company. This could be a business partner. This could be an executive team. This could be an employee-owned company where all the employees come together and purchase the business. What's sometimes referred to as an ESOP, employee stock ownership plan. So that's an innie, that someone inside the company purchases the business, acquires the business. The third possibility in terms of an exit strategy is what Ungashek referred to as an outie. An outie is selling the business to someone outside of the business. This could be, usually it's one of maybe 3 or 4 possibilities. It could be a competitor. It could be what's referred to as a financial buyer, someone who wants to purchase your business, acquire your profit, acquire your cash flow, what your business is producing in terms of returns, a financial buyer. Third possibility is what's referred to as a strategic buyer. A strategic buyer is not a competitor, but someone who looks at your business, looks at their own business, and sees some synergy between the two going forward, like 1 + 1 = 3 or 4. A strategic buyer. Know that on average, the strategic buyer pays more for business than either a financial buyer or a competitor, primarily because the strategic buyer is purchasing the future in terms of your business. The competitor or the financial buyer is purchasing your past, what you've done historically. So the strategic buyer, on average, is going to pay more, a higher multiple of earnings for your business. So those are the 3 possibilities in terms of exit. That's the third type of exit is the outie. So we've got the passer, the innie, the outie, and the fourth option for exiting is what Ungashek refers to as a squeezer. A squeezer. A squeezer is someone, it's like myself. I've got essentially a one-person business. I'm going to keep working until I'm ready to retire, and then I'm just going to close the business, shut the lights, close the door. A squeezer. So I'm going to squeeze the business for as much as I can while I'm working, knowing that there's no one to acquire the business or pass the business to. I'm a squeezer. Which of these 4 options sounds best for your business today? So the idea is to pick one. You're certainly not held to it, but you want to pick one that you think is maybe the best option for you and your business going forward, and then begin to create a strategy around that particular option. So that's the second question, is which exit strategy. Third question is, what is your exit magic number? Exit magic number. Ungashek suggests that we should have a number that when we leave the business, when we exit the business, how much money do we want that we've taken from the business? How much money do we want going forward? This number is usually a 7-figure number, $1 million, $5 million, $10 million, $100 million. That it's okay. When I leave the business, I expect to have this. And it's usually a combination of two numbers: the amount of money that I have saved over the course of operating the business, in addition to whatever money I expect to receive when I leave the business, assuming that I'm going to sell the business. So as an example, maybe I've decided, for me to leave the business, I need to have $10 million. I'm going to try to save $5 million over the course of the next 5 to 7 years. And then I expect to sell my business for another $5 million. 5 plus 5, my exit magic number is $10 million. A good financial advisor can help you determine what your exit magic number needs to be given your lifestyle going forward, your plans going forward, how long you expect to live, what type of activities you plan on after your exit. All those factors come into play to determine your exit magic number. The fourth question then is, where is that money going to come from? That $10 million, is it come from savings? Is it going to come from selling the business? What combination of money will help you arrive at that exit magic number? That's the fourth question. The fifth question is, what risks do you face prior to exit? What obstacles do you face prior to exit? And typically there are a number. It could be, something could happen to the business, a business failure, could lose a key employee, could lose a lucrative contract. The economy could go down. It could be some type of innovation that might put our product, out of sync with the market. So we just want to write down every risk, every obstacle that we might face going forward towards our exit. So we begin thinking of strategies for each of those risks, each of those obstacles. That's the fifth question. The sixth question, and the one that I find is most overlooked: what do you plan to do after exit? What do you plan to do after exit? I ask that question oftentimes of business owners, and I usually get a blank stare. Well, I haven't thought about that. I'm so busy working in this business, I've not thought about what's next. Really important, though, because you want to be working towards something versus working your way away from something, your existing business. Is it travel? Is it time with family? Maybe you're going to start another business. Maybe it's doing philanthropy, doing volunteer work. What do you plan to do next? And finally, the seventh question is, who will be on your exit planning team? What Angeshek suggests is you form a team today. And the example would be, well, you'd want your CPA on that exit planning team. You'd want your attorney on that exit planning team, a financial planner, maybe a key executive from your company, maybe a family member, an insurance agent. And the idea is that team should get together at least once a year to review your exit strategy. Okay, we've got 5 more years. We need this much money. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. The team should get together once a year to review your exit strategy. So those are just some basics as it relates to exit strategy. What's your exit strategy?